Hey you guys, and welcome back to Lisa and Company, or welcome if you've never been here before. Apologies for the voice. I've had a terrible cold I cannot shake, and today is probably going to be the one and only Christmas video of 2023. I know it's been crazy, and I am going to fill you in on that just a little bit later in the video. It has been a hot minute since Christmas in July, and thank you so much because you came out and supported and loved everything I made, and I can't wait to do some more. Today we're going to be doing some really super quick, cheap and easy DIYs, and we are starting with steering wheel covers from Dollar Tree. And you may wonder what that has to do with Christmas? Well, stay tuned and I'm going to show you. All right, so other than the two steering wheel covers, I have two Dollar Tree wreath forms, a whole bunch of different greenery. So we're gonna start by wrestling these onto the wreath forms. They do fit, and it is simple, but you gotta wrestle a little bit. So I'm gonna get those put on. I'm going to take a second and pop in a couple of inspiration pics that I found on Pinterest, just to give you an idea of what it is that we're going for here. All right, I'm going to get started and put one of these on here. So all I did, and you would laugh so hard, I actually tried this out in Dollar Tree to make sure they fit. I had a feeling they would. Okay, so it's on and you can see it's sitting on it just like a steering wheel, but now we have to get this around so it actually covers the entire wreath form. And that's just a case of adjusting it and adjusting it and adjusting it a little bit more. Now, when I was wrestling with this in Dollar Tree, literally in the automotive aisle, I wondered if I would have to take out one of the rings on this wreath form to make sure it was all covered. Now, doesn't that look better? All I did was cut off that center ring. It still gives me the same size wreath. It just doesn't show. Now I'm looking at the back here, and this is going outside. So rather than leaving it to its own devices in the elements, I think I am going to just put a tiny bit of glue around here just to make sure that that stays where I actually want it to stay. Then I'm going to go through and I'm going to do the same thing and cut off the middle loop here. In fact, let me just show you really quick what I did. I have these what are called side cutters. So they allow you to get nice and close to what you're cutting. So all I'm doing is putting it as tight as I can against that. And now I need two hands, but it is completely doable. And that's it. So we're just going to go all the way around the loop, cut those off, and we're going to have a smaller wreath form. I am going to go ahead and put kind of a big dollop under here just to get it sitting where I want it. All right, so I am going to I'm going to take it around a couple of times, kind of cinch it as tight as I can. Darn steering wheel covers. Who thought this was a good idea? Always seems like a good idea when you're standing there in Dollar Tree. All right, so get that tied on. I want to cover up as much of this little sort of mess at the bottom here as I possibly can. And I think that will do the trick. I want a real good looking knot here because it's literally part of it. It's not just a functional knot. So, all right, so I'm going to let that hang down off the side, which gives us that effect. So, yep, definitely enjoying this so far. I think I'm going to take a little bit more of this other greenery and just tuck it in a little bit more. And I'll pop that inspo picture up so you can kind of see what I'm talking about. And like I said, I have this like crazy glittery Dollar Tree one. And I think I'm just going to tuck a little bit more in just to give it that extra full, oh, look.
And as we decorate the tree, only you and me, I'll be making plans, make you understand. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I'm trying to tell you in every way. Yeah, I'm trying to show you, but somehow felt I wanna have someone to hold. Walking through the falling snow.
So while the ribbon I had picked was really pretty, it's not suiting the direction that this is going in. That would suit sort of a more traditional wreath. So I remembered that I had picked up this absolutely gorgeous ribbon at HomeSense, which is Home Goods to You. And it's a nice floppy velvet ribbon. So I am literally going to tie a bow and just have a nice floppy ribbon. So let's, now just want to check because I thought I saw, it's just glitter. Because there's glitter everywhere thanks to all of these glittery pieces. So I am just going to tie a beautiful velvet bow, just like a hair bow. That's what I'm going to call it. Just like you're tying it around little girl's hair to go with her beautiful holiday dress, maybe that her Nana sent her. That's what always happened in our family. My Nana would send Christmas outfits for us from England, from Marks and Spencer's in England. They almost inevitably always had velvet to them, and we looked forward to that. It's funny the things that you remember at Christmas. All right, so I've just made a really nice little bow, like I said, that is absolutely covered in glitter. And I'm just gonna add that over top of that twine. Okay, time to do the second one. All right, so I'm going to show you how I hang these wreaths, and thank you, Charlie. I use the Rebecca Robeson method. So I have a Dollar Tree sticky hook on the back of the door upside down, and I put these up yesterday because I always find they stick better when they have a little bit of time to really adhere. Then what I'm going to do is figure out where I want my wreath. Okay. I do this because I find a lot of the wreath hangers aren't long enough for where I want to hang my wreath. I want my wreath at eye level, like right here. I don't want it up here, and I find a lot of the wreath hangers make it too high up, especially because on the outside of this there's a step, so I want to make sure that my wreath is in a good spot. So I'm just going to be using a little bit of twine, and I'll just, you know what, I'm just going to show you. It's easier to show you than talk. So I went ahead and tied a little bit of twine on here, and I took advantage of my wire wreath form and tied it to that. So keeping in mind, we want to make sure that these are hanging, like I don't want them doing kind of their own thing. So I'm using the bow kind of for my orientation. Trickiest part of this is going to be getting them even on the door. So I may or may not film that part because there may or may not be bad words. So I'm gonna head outside and figure out exactly where I want this. So I just realized I might be able to do this, like actually show you how I do it instead of like show you once it's done, because the way the door works here. I just noticed my door is all dusty. I'm gonna have to go back and clean that. All right, so that's pretty much where I want my wreath. See how it's at my eye level, and I'm pretty average height. It doesn't impede my little, the heck are those called? Okay, it doesn't impede that. It's where I want it. So now I'm gonna pull the door back around, grab my twine, and then I'm just going to tie a knot right around this hook. And the hardest part is just not letting it slip. And this is why it's going to be tricky to get the other one. I might need an extra set of eyes while I work on the other one to make sure I get it in the right spot. So just straighten that up. Make sure you've got it in the right spot. Whoa. Okay, these hooks are different than the usual branded ones that I often buy. It's a little slipperier than normal here. There. All right, put a little bow on it. Just gonna open this back up so you can see what I did. And there we go. So I'm gonna go ahead and hang the other one, and I'm not gonna film that because, like I said, there may or may not be bad words. And I'm gonna show you when we're all done. All right, you guys, before we get started on the next DIY, I just felt like I needed to touch base with you. If you've been with me for a while or you follow me on Instagram, you know my mom was dealing with a cancer diagnosis. And last April 2022, she was given 2 months life expectancy. And anyone who knew my mom went, challenge accepted. And she did. But unfortunately, last week we lost her after a 2.5-year battle with multiple myeloma. But she fought really hard, and we were lucky to have her with us much longer than the doctors expected. Unfortunately, it was very quick at the end, and we are still getting used to the idea of not having her around. But I know my mom would not want me to just sit and wallow. She would tell me to get up and do something that I loved. So I am here and I'm doing something that I love because I love how she fell in love with YouTube when I started this journey. So if you're newer here, you won't know that if you go back to the old videos, you'll see that my mom left the longest comments. You will know that many of the videos, anything that was blue and white related, was strictly for my mom. And in fact, I will attach the playlist of videos that I did for her. There was a couple of times that she went shopping with us, but even better, we had started a video in the fall. We went shopping at HomeSense and Marshall's, and I really noticed in that intro that we did together just how tired she was getting. I didn't finish that video. I have everything made. I made a really cute sign for my mom's room. Oh gosh, I don't even remember, but we'll save that for next fall and we'll put that up then. But I really wanted to do some simple DIYs. I was really feeling like if I could be creative, I could have my mom here right along with me because she was the one who taught me to be creative. She was the one who was always trying to make something better or make something out of something else. And I like to believe that I learned all of this from her. So thank you for those of you on Instagram who've shared your thoughts and prayers. We really appreciate it. But now it is onwards and upwards, and I want to do a really simple DIY that's been on kind of my DIY bucket list for a while. So here we go. I have been searching for one of these Dollar Tree dusters for a while. In my stores, they're getting harder to find. I found this one just a little while back, and we're going to turn this into, it's like a bottle brush Christmas tree, except I think it might actually be better. So I'm going to swap out the camera here and we're going to get started, and I'm going to show you just how simple this was. And yeah, although I love white, I would have absolutely made this for my mom to go with all her blue and white Christmas decorations. So I'm gonna get this one done. All right, so to get started, I wasn't sure if I should take off the handle first. I'm gonna leave it just because I feel like I might need something to hold on to at some point. What I've done is really flattened this out so it's less sort of circular and more flat. And then just gonna take my scissors, and oh my goodness, did you have a mom who made sure you didn't use fabric scissors on paper and vice versa? I remember the day she caught me using her pinking shears to cut paper. I mean, I can laugh about it now, but boy, was she angry. All right, let me just get some stuff out of the way here so you can see better. What we're gonna do is leave about 2 inches at the bottom, and then we are simply gonna start cutting towards the top. And it has this like little plastic piece at the top, so that kind of gives you a guideline. And this cost me $1.50. So if it doesn't work, well, it only cost me $1.50, but I want to get started here. So I'm leaving myself a couple of inches, and I'm just eyeballing the angle that I need here to get to the top. So here we go. And don't forget, you don't have to make the first perfect cut. Just like when you make pom-poms and stuff like that, you can always go back and give it a bit of a haircut. And I'm pretty sure we're gonna need to go back and give this a bit of a haircut. So I didn't quite make it through the bottom layer on that, so we'll go back and do that. I'm gonna call this, whoops, a perfectly imperfect DIY, because I feel like that's the direction we're heading in. So now I'm going to just go across and do the same thing on this side. You can probably see even better the sort of shape it's taking. Come on, scissors. Come on. The hardest part is it's moving around as I'm doing it. I'm not. Maybe I used these scissors on paper a few too many times. Here we go. Now I feel like I might have cut this one a little bit shorter than I should have, but it's a feather duster. It'll be fine. You know how, like I always say to you guys, it's just paint, you can fix it? Well, this is just a feather duster. It's not like we invested a whole bunch of money in it. All right, so, all right. I'm gonna call that progress. I don't feel like it's ready yet. I can kind of see where I cut it. And I think I need to do it on the opposite way now. So I'm just gonna kind of flatten that out a bit, lay it down. Yeah, I can see here I need to do it. All right, so I'm gonna start a couple of inches up, and it's probably really hard to see on this white mat, so apologies, but I think you get the idea of where we're going here. And I feel like this is one of those things where if I had a whole bunch of these, oh, I could have made them at different heights. Maybe Izzy and I'll hit up another Dollar Tree later and see if we can find a few more. All right, so. Well, I definitely made this side a bit short. I think I'm gonna go in and shorten up the other sides just to kind of keep it even. Actually, it looks really good where I cut it a little bit short. So let's go here. And again, I'm just eyeballing to that tip to give me a guide of the shape. I imagine if you're somebody who likes to work a little bit more precisely, there's a great way to do this. Gotta say, right off the top of my head, I don't know if, you know, you could use masking tape. I'm not sure. If you guys figure something out, let me know. Or if you're one of those people who likes to do something far more precisely and I'm making you a little bit bananas by doing it this way, head down to the comments and tell me how you would have done it. Just be nice. Because I'm not, everything makes me cry these days. All right. Oh, I think we got it. Oh, you guys, I'm loving it. Okay, I can see a few pieces and I'm just gonna give it a tiny bit of a haircut at the top here. Huh, not gonna lie, I think this worked out better than I thought. And I find myself, oh my gosh, sorry about the sniffing. I had a terrible cold. I wonder what else you could use to make these really cute trees. All right, I'm gonna take the base off now. I know it's got a little bit of glue in there. Yeah, but it came off pretty easy. And then we've just got our little metal stem and a really, really big mess. And then I had this Dollar Tree candle from a previous project. I am literally just going to take that. I put a little bit of foam in the bottom. I made a hole Then I'm going to add a tiny bit of hot glue in there because that'll help it stay. And I believe that I won't have to trim off the bottom of this because the bottom of the tree will cover everything. But let's just see. All the way down. Yeah. Oh, so pretty. And just like all of those DIYs that we keep seeing where they're putting bottle brush trees in everything, you could do all of those things with this. And I think $1.50 for a really pretty, sort of shabby chic tree is just so. So I'm just cleaning up the mess that I made here. And I kind of looked at this, and I think all crafters are hoarders on some level. And I was like, what could I use it for? Because if I do go find some more of these later, I'm going to have a lot of fluff. And then I thought, it's snow. It's basically snow. And I have a big, not mason jar. I have a big storage jar, like the kind you put flour in. And I'm thinking, I'm going to put this in the bottom of it and maybe put one of those little Dollar Tree houses. And this is going to look so pretty. It's not hoarding if you use it. That's what I'm told. So this DIY it's stupid simple. It's not even super quick, cheap, and easy. It is stupid simple. I picked up these nesting boxes from Michael's. In Canada, they were $21 for 12 of them, which is a pretty good deal. It's a really well-constructed box. It's not lightweight. They have lids, and they're really nice, tight-fitting lids. But I also used a 40% off coupon, so that made this a really, really good deal. And it's super simple. We're going to use a little bit of tape. We're going to stack these boxes up, and when I'm done, you're going to understand why I think this is a really cool Christmas DIY. I'm gonna do it the best I can right here so that you can see what I'm doing, but it's gonna get big and it's gonna be tricky, so bear with me. All right, so I already have 3 of the boxes and their lids stacked up. So I'm gonna keep building on this. And like I said, it's gonna get a little unwieldy, but we're gonna do our best so that you can kind of see. At this point, I'm only stacking and I'm just using a little loop of tape in between. I think I'm gonna speed this up so that I don't bore you to tears. Well, I was trying to decide how to finish this off, and wait, maybe I should make sure. Do you see it's got kind of a Christmas tree shape? It graduates smaller and smaller as it gets to the top. Definitely has an Empire State Building vibe, and it's even more obvious when you can see the entire thing. Apparently a couple of years I was feeling very Christmassy because I found this gorgeous red satin ribbon, and I think that's what I'm going to use to finish it up. I was kind of digging through my ribbon supply and I saw this, and I don't know about you guys, but I talk to myself a lot when I DIY, and I was like, oh, that's perfect. Why do I have red ribbon? I never use red ribbon. It was a full-on conversation. I think Charlie might have thought that I was talking to him, but regardless, I've got some really cool red ribbon, and I think this is gonna work. Where am I putting this tree? Hold on. Do we want red ribbon? Do you want red ribbon? Pause while I think this one through. So welcome back to Overthinkers Anonymous. I spent way too much time thinking about this, but I think I'm fairly happy with the end result. So here's a couple of things I did. When I looked at the boxes, I realized they had one good side where you couldn't see the construction of the box, we'll call it. So I restacked them that way, but I also restacked them so they were straight at the back. I thought it would give it a more exaggerated look at the front and really look like that wedding cake skyscraper design. So I ended up using the red ribbon just because I thought it was really festive. And the beauty of this is I can restack this, take off those little pieces of Scotch tape. It shouldn't be damaged at all. Well, it won't be because I've already taken them apart once. I can restack these. They fit into that large box, takes up no space. Next year, if I decide to put this in a different place, all I have to do is use a different ribbon. I was also thinking, you guys probably do the same thing when you're DIYing, but I was also thinking all the way up the front would be the perfect spot for IOD molds. So maybe we'll do an upcycle of this one next year and just change it up a little bit. Yeah, I think that's what we'll do. Anyway, I've got the ribbon placed underneath the box. This works out to just about 4 feet. So I've cut myself a little extra ribbon. And I'm gonna pull it fairly tight. And yes, I've oriented the ribbon towards the back of the boxes so you can kind of see what we're doing here. So I'm gonna go ahead and just glue the top, make a bow for the top, and then this is gonna be done. Now, because I don't wanna damage the boxes, I'm gonna try and glue the ribbon to itself. And to do that, I'm gonna have to put it on the floor. So you're not gonna be able to see what I'm doing. So I'm gonna go ahead and do that, and I'll be right back. So you guys, I can make a bow, but I'm not very good at explaining how to make a bow. There are great bow makers out there. I love the way Rebecca Robeson explains it. Wendy at White Sparrow Living, excellent bow maker. I think she even has a video just on bows, but I could be wrong. So I've just made a twisted 4-loop bow, but this was something my mom always did, and I watch people take a piece of ribbon and like glue it around the front, and I'm always yelling at the camera. So I'm going to show you what she always did. She took a length of the ribbon and she tied a knot, and then let me get it all sorted here. She would take that, and by the way, my mom could make a bow, like seriously make a bow. But then she would take that, and I've just tied it off with a little bit of twine. She would take that and use that as her center. And look, it actually looks like you've tied the bow. And I always thought that was so pretty. And then these can just become additional tails. And I'm gonna glue them at the back, although I could tie them. It just takes up a little bit of ribbon if you tie them. So I'm just going to make sure they're twisted the right way. Because on satin ribbon, you know, you've got a good side and a not good side. All right, so I'm gonna do that, and then I'm gonna attach it to the top of my tree.
All around, I can see them now. It's like they spell your name. It's insane. Now we're back here once again. Holidays and cheer. But now I got my eye set on you. I'm not gonna play it safe. It's going down on Christmas Day. 'Cause I'm trying to tell you in every way.
Thanks so much for being here today, you guys. These wreaths and these DIYs were truly a labor of love. I thought about my mom, and I talked to my mom the entire time I was working on them, and that I got to share that with you is really, really special. She was absolutely my biggest supporter. She was my biggest promoter, and she was my biggest fan on YouTube, and I'm gonna miss that. Thank you so, so much for being here today. You are part of my extended family. Many of you have been with me from the very beginning, and my mom used to comment on the people that she recognized commenting on the videos. So that's the kind of impact that you had on our family. Thank you very much. I wish you and your families the most wonderful holiday season. Remember to hug the people you love, because you never know how long you have them for. And you guys, we'll see you in the next video.
Say